And welcome back from this short break. We will now move into the bits and the bytes of the world again. WithSecure, a cybersecurity company, and I guess a lot of people is always looking in the Nordic region. I'm often asked, is there a cybersecurity player here? So yes, there is, and to my in my thinking and my belief as an investor, one of the big, maybe best secular thematics in the software industry. But Tom, you can try and convince me about that and tell me a little bit about your company.
Thank you, Michael, and hello to everyone. So we are WithSecure, and my name is Tom Jansson, and I'm the Chief Financial Officer for this company. And I'm joined today by Laura Viita, who is our Director of Investor Relations. And we will try to convince, as Michael said, you about our company and so on. So I will propose then that we move forward, and we will start with a little bit of what are we at a glance, so to say, as a company. So first of all, we used to be part of what was called F-Secure, and this was something we went through a demerger earlier in this year, and with that demerger process, we also created a new brand for the B2B side, which we represent here, and it's called WithSecure these days. And looking at our history, obviously, as said, this was originally part of the F-Secure, so we have a very long history. So this company was founded over 30 years ago by Risto Siilasmaa, who is still also the major owner and the chairman of our WithSecure today. In terms of our revenue, so if you look at our last 12 months level, so we are a little over 130 million at the moment. We have about little short of 1,300 employees, and the majority of our business today is still a partner-based business. So that's the lion's share of our revenue today. And we have over 7,000 partners. But we have maybe 150, 160 active partners, but then we have a long tail of different partners and resellers that we are working with. Our net revenue retention is 114%. So our current customers tend to like us and buy more from us. One key thing that we are following is obviously our cloud solutions, ARR, which is really one of our main growth drivers as a company, and that has been performing quite well. So we have been growing about 30% of that year over year, and our net promoter score is quite strong. So which obviously hopeful also is an evidence of that those customers who come with us tends to like us and stick with us. Then in terms of if you look at our product split, so as said, our cloud native, which is really, as said, the kind of the growth driver for us in the future as well, that represented now at around 49%. Then we still have an on-premise solution as well, which is a subscription-based on-premise solution. But there still tends to be customer segments that prefers that still these days. Those are many of those are government institutions, so that still represents about 21% of our total revenue in the last 12 months. And then we have a consulting practice as well, and it's a kind of our consulting practice is a high-end technical consulting practice. So we try to or tend to pride ourselves that we have one of the world's best hackers, or many of the best hackers in the world in our payroll. If you look at our geographical split, obviously Nordics is our stronghold. We are founded here in Helsinki, and also the rest of Nordic is also strong for us, and as well as Europe, especially UK and then mid-Europe as well. And then we have also quite a bit of business in the US and then the rest of the world. And in that segment, I need to say that Japan is a really strong country for us and big country for us, where we have traditionally been quite strong as a company from providing the cybersecurity solutions in the Japan market. So if we go forward then and look at the next, so a few words about how we look at the market. So obviously the cyber threats are getting more and more industrialized. So the bad guys are already an industry by itself, and so that continues to kind of expand, and it's obviously something that we continuously are working against, so to say. And we are very much our company an outcome-based security thinking. So which means that not only do we tell our customers what the problem are, we're also trying to fix them for them, so that we jointly work on the problems that there is out there. The market by itself and the customer environment, our customer environments are getting more complex as we more and more the companies are moving to cloud solutions and transforming from their legacy solutions, and having a combination of the two makes the environment very complex. So obviously our job is then to make sure that from a cyber perspective we provide simplicity to those challenges that our customers have. And then the big thing obviously is also on the market. There's clearly a competence gap in this cyber market. So we believe in co-securing. So very few customers can do it with them by themselves. So we coming in and bringing some expertise as a combination with customers, we are true believers in that. In the future, co-security with customers is something that will be working against the ever developing cyber problems that we have in the world. So if we go then to the next slide. So here is a little bit maybe about our slogans and thinking why we come to work every day in this company. So we firmly believe that no one in the future should experience a serious loss or put off the business because of cyber attack or crime. And I think that's a vision for the entire industry. And we try to at least make sure that those who are our customers not going to be in that position ever. And this is something that hopefully reflects and should be reflecting our thinking and why we as an organization come to work every day and so on. So we really believe also that we can make a difference in the digital society and making sure that people can trust what they're working on. So if you a little bit look then on our portfolio and the customers and how we go to market. So we have a few solutions that we sell to the market. We obviously are not a big player in this market, so we tend to try to focus on segments where we can be one of the three best ones. So our Elements portfolio is really targeted to small and mid-market customers, and we do this, as I said in the beginning, through our partner channel mainly. And so we put our technology stack available for our partners to provide their services on top of our platform. And we tend to think that we have the number one platform for partners in this space. And we see that evidence of both growth and also the feedback from our partners. And in this is really important that we develop, making it easy to use, good business models for our partners, and obviously making sure that the technology stays relevant. And then we can help our partners also with more difficult problems that they might have that they can't solve themselves. Then we have what we call the MDR, or managed services. That is more directly to more mid-market and enterprise level, which is really a lot about detection and response solutions. So we have our own technology stack that is called Countercept, and that is combined with the threat intelligence and incident response capabilities and so on. And this is more towards bigger companies that need help with their cybersecurity, more on that front. And then we have our consultancy service, and good probably to mention here that our consultancy service is not just pushing our products. It's really a consultancy, independent consultancy. But obviously, when our product makes sense, we try to have that as part of the solution. So there's some synergies, especially between the managed services and our consultancy practice. But our consultancy is really high end, and one of the important sectors that we are very strong on is banking. So I believe 6 of the 10 biggest banks in the world is our customers, and so on. So this is a strong strong part of our offering, and we believe that as a cyber company, you can't really be in this market without having some sort of consultancy service as well. And we have also, the consultancy service has another function, not only doing business for us, but it also, when we work with the banks and the more other high-end problems, that also feeds to our product development. So it not only has the function of good business, but it also has a very important strategic role of coming up with the latest threats and so on, that we can then productize and into our technology stack. And then the newest addition to our portfolio is the cloud content protection, which is really very in a simple, trying to explain it simply, is that we provide the solution to protect third-party content in the different platforms. And we today are working only with Salesforce. So Salesforce is obviously, I'm sure many of you know, that the biggest platform in the world. And we created a solution which makes sure that those who imports third-party content, say contracts or whatever third-party content into their Salesforce solution, is also protected, because this is not protected by the platform providers. The platform providers protect obviously their platform and everything around that, but they do not protect those third-party contents or files that is imported to the different parts of, for instance, Salesforce. And I said we have exclusively focused so far on the Salesforce because that's the biggest platform, but this is very easily also applied to other platforms, say Workday or whatever that is out there. But so far we have only focused on Salesforce, and this is something that's been growing quite nicely lately. And this is a really new solution and also a market where there isn't a lot of competition at the moment. So we are the only main player there, and this has been around for a few years now. That is growing quite nicely. But this is also a solution that is more towards more enterprise level, bigger customers. While we say that we work with Salesforce, it's still the customer relationship always is directly with us. So it's not through the platform vendor. Then if you look at the go-to-market model, so as said, the small and part of the mid-market is really provided through channel from us mainly. And then as you go up in the stack and so on, it's more direct and to direct sales how we go to the market with our portfolio. Then if we look at what have we put up as our targets for us. So as part of the split in the company, we came out with different targets for different parts of the company. For WithSecure, though, we are targeting to double our revenue organically by end of 2025. And as we are not profitable today, we are targeting to be EBITDA break-even by end of next year. And then as we scale the company, we should be going more towards a software kind of EBITDA over time and closer to something around 20% or so. And then if we go forward a little bit on how to do this. So first of all, in the markets that we are, clearly those markets are growing quite significantly. So B2B cybersecurity products is obviously a huge market. We are, with the Elements portfolio, targeting a portion of that, but the market by itself should be growing about 20%. Countercept, which is a bit newer as part of our MDR, or detection and response solution, that is growing a similar kind, but it's more newer markets, especially in Europe. This is something that has been very strong growing in the previous years in the US, and that growth we see it coming to Europe as well in this year and going forward. So this should be a good market to also, and we should have a good fit to that market. And then the consulting, obviously, there's a lot of demand in consulting today, and so far it really has been more execution than demand generating, because the demand is out there. So we can clearly see that this is also then supporting our thinking on how to make the targets that we have set out there. Then, if we start with the P&L, we believe that we have good solutions that has been built for a number of years over before, and those have good tractions at the moment, and we have a detailed bottoms-up plan how to reach those targets that we set out there. But if you look at our gross margin, as I said in the beginning, we see our cloud solutions to be our main growth driver. So with that, we should also see our blended gross margin to start scaling upwards. And here we have outlined a few kind of where do we want to take our different parts of the portfolio in terms of gross margin. In some, we are close to these targets already. Some we have some more work to do, but this is kind of just to give you a little bit of flavor on where we need to see our different parts of our portfolio go as a gross margin. Then if we move forward, then if you look at our other costs, as said, we see our journey going forward in the next 2 to 3 years really being scaling our current company and the portfolio that we have in place. So we should see some scaling effect in all our costs. So our sales and marketing, obviously, we expect that to scale somewhat. R&D as well, maybe a little bit less than sales and marketing, because you obviously need to invest in R&D always in this industry. It's a fast-paced industry that moves very fast, so R&D investments will probably always be there. But then on the admin cost, we should see a huge scaling effect as we grow, and I think in that respect we have the infrastructure that we need now to make the growth that we are planning. And then if I would recap how we see ourselves as an investment. So we are operating in a large and fast-growing markets with pretty selected parts of the market that said we target to be one of the 3 best ones in those markets that we target. We have in those markets that we target, we have a strong customer value proposition, and the customers tend to like us, so we have they stick with us once they choose us, and that we have clear evidence of in terms of our retention and renewals and so on. And our cloud solutions at the moment are growing over 30%, and we see that continuing to be a fast-growing area, and it's really supported by our consulting practice as well, and we see that, as I mentioned, strategically important to have for not only the business but also for making sure our technology stacks develops as needed, and so we feel that we have a growth strategy in place that also should deliver some good value for those who are our shareholders going forward. So that was, Michael, what I was planning to present and allow for some questions and answers as well.
Yes. There's a question here, detect and response. Do you have such a product? I heard you mention that you have a detect and response product, and will you develop more in that field to stay competitive?
Absolutely. So we see that is something that also the market is demanding more and more, because the traditional EPP is not enough anymore. So we have a solution for that, and as I said, we have our own technology. So that is maybe something that is differing from a lot of the service providers, that we also have a technology stack that we are working on and combining with our threat hunting and incident response capabilities. That's a pretty nice solution that we can offer to the customers with a bit different angle than maybe traditionally with some of the vendors.
And then there's a question: have you seen any effect on your business from slowing economy? I also have a question. I read the studies that around 100% of chief IT officers says that they will invest more in cybersecurity next year. That's why I call it the best secular. So maybe you could confirm it. So, and I also saw a Gartner, but Gartner is Gartner, that the growth will actually go up from 7 to 12% in the cybersecurity space. So are you seeing any of what we are hearing from the rest of the software industry, that people are a little bit hesitant to to sign up and go into something, or is the cybersecurity really the place where this is not happening?
Yeah, I think, and those who follow this space has also probably seen a lot of our other players in the market commenting this. So, and I think we agree with some of the views that nobody thinks that the cyber spend will go down. In fact, I think this is a very defensive industry, and people will continue to invest in it. And there's clearly, with the world situation what it is, there's a great need for this. We've seen it this year as well. But with the slowdown, there is obviously a risk that the decision making will slow down when spending goes under the heavy scrutiny. But we don't see that the spend on cybersecurity will go down. We have no signs of that, nor have we set any strong signs yet, even from a slowdown. But that obviously is a risk that everybody needs to recognize, that when a company looks at their spending, it takes a little bit of time before the decision is made.
I understand that. So you also feel that. Is that maybe because, I guess you touched upon that your segment is the smaller to medium-sized companies that maybe don't understand really how large the threat is. Will that challenge you a little bit, that you are in that segment, where maybe you are a little bit faster I simply need to save money no matter what the consequences are?
Yeah, there might be those, but we don't see a major movement in that direction at all. I think, unfortunately, more and more companies also in that segment are attacked, and we have quite a few examples where people call us and under attack, and then we go and fix it, and then they become our customer. So we don't see that the spend per se on maybe a little bit more macro level will go down, but there could be obviously some individual companies that take more risk going forward.
And then a little bit follow up on this detection and response product. Do you have extended detection and response product, XDR? This is a different thing than EPP or EDR. Now I'm a little bit on.
Yeah, so we are also working on that, and we will have a solution for that. So that is in the works. I'm very close to being there. So
perfect. And then a little bit up in the helicopter, I know that the cybersecurity space is a little bit fragmented with smaller companies, but also large companies, the tech giants who is trying to take that in-house. How do you compete? Is that being a niche player and being focused on maybe the segment in the market where it's less interesting to be the smaller and medium-sized companies, where, so a little bit thoughts about how to compete with this that they also want to stretch their arms out, the big tech giant, into this space?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, we, as those who follow the space have seen, there's been some consolidation and acquisitions by the big players. But as I said, we try to do the best things in the niches that we are. We are not even trying to give a solution for everything. So far, at least, the approach of giving the best solution for certain parts of the cybersecurity has been resonating quite well with the market.
And is that also why the consultancy business is so important for you? Because that's an extra layer of, not a sales organization. It's wrong to say, but
yeah, I think consulting is as I said, it's not product specifics per se. So they do work on all the projects, and they can implement also and recommend competitor products if they fit better. So from that perspective, but it's strategically also very important that because when we work, especially when we work with banking sector, which is obviously very interesting for the other side, so to say, there we learn and see what the latest threats are, and we can use that knowledge for our product development. And actually, we have seen evidence of new products stemming out of that knowledge.
And then a last question. I think maybe you touched upon it. I'm in no doubt of the market. You also said you're pretty convinced that this will grow. So what is the main challenge to achieve your targets in 25 and the coming years? Is that the lack of people to drive this business?
Well, one of the things that has really hurt us this year has been attrition. especially around consulting. So as I said, there's a competence gap, and there's a high demand on resourcing. So I think that is, as you said, probably one of the key challenges that we need to tackle. But we have worked on good academy. We have a pretty good academy now, and so things like that helps us to develop young talents to become a good cyber experts. But it's a continuous work that we need to continue all the time, and so on. So that is one of the challenges that we need to work through in order to achieve our targets, and of course always make sure that our R&D is working on the right things, and we get solutions out in a speedy way.
Perfect. Thank you, Tom. The time has run out. Very, very interesting. We will
Michael,
go on.
I hope I convinced you.
I maybe you didn't need to convince me, but I think you convinced others. But thank you, Tom, and we will go on a short break.